you see
Welcome
that?
to
Did you
DYST
see that?
Podcast.
Reacts.
This is Eva.
And this is Nisi. Welcome. We are back again this week, and we are going to be jumping right in. As you know, we always go over a pop culture item, and then we also go over some real news, like some, we kind of wanted to introduce a small little segment this week. And it's going to be what we call the catch up. We always are saying to you guys, catch up with us as we catch up with what's going on. So this week, we wanted to give you a little catch up. More so going to be just whatever's going on with us this week, with work or in our regular lives, anything like that. But it just will be a little catch up with us. So that's what we're going to call this section, the catch up. So Ev, is there anything crazy happening to you this week, or anything you feel like is maybe a little mundane you want to talk about?
I did have like a work win, or like a week of work wins. The recent spring break activities. So I'm in charge of doing youth activities at my job, and I had like a full week planned, and I was a little frightened that no one was going to show up, because that's always an option. And it's always, you have to keep it in mind. But I had a full week planned, and like every day someone came in. There were like kids in my activities and having fun and just asking about when we're doing more stuff. And I'm like, yes, I know I'm awesome. Thank you.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And then, of course, literally 2 days after that week, I had my monthly review with the boss, and it was basically just, Eva is awesome. It's like, yes, thank you. We appreciate it.
Over the past couple of weeks, at my job, they've been saying, everybody's been doing such a great job. Apparently, our store got some award or whatever. No one knows what it actually is for, except for the big wig at the store. Obviously, they didn't tell us. They just told us, hey, they think you guys are doing such a great job, and they want to give y'all like a winter luncheon, right? It then went from a winter luncheon to they want to give y'all gift cards, or we can give y'all lunch. I know that the way we work, we don't have time where it's like everyone can just stop and eat together or whatever. So I know that's probably not going to happen. But also I know that the gift card they're probably going to give us is to the store. So I was like, I'd rather just get a Kava gift card. And I was like, I think that'd be great, because I love Kava. It's only, I don't know how much they're really going to give us, but I know I don't really want it for the store. The manager comes in the other day and they're like, okay, here, I got everybody's gift cards. And they're telling me how they went, and the store, Kava didn't have any gift cards. They were really trying or whatever. What it has come down to is we only got $15. So it's not like, some big amount or whatever. It's not like, so I'm just like, this appreciation. I know people are going to feel like, well, at least you got something. They sent them to Yard House. Okay. I guarantee between the 4 or 5 of them, they didn't spend $15 each. So to give us $15 each was just, I feel like, a little cheapskatey. And I feel like they probably pocketed the money. Remember, they didn't, but I definitely feel like we could have gotten more than $15. You know what, whatever. I ended up spending it, so I didn't have to spend $50 in the store on some groceries. So whatever. But that's what happened to me this week. So moving on, we're going to jump right into the other items that we have for this week. From last week, you saw that we had a huge congratulations for Ketanji
Brown Jackson.
Always say it wrong. Sorry. For Mrs. Ketanji. This week, we actually got to see more. We got to see more of what is it actually called?
So it's the Supreme Court Justice confirmation hearings in front of the Judiciary Committee of the Senate.
Yes. And so we just wanted to give you guys a little update, talk a little bit more about it, give you a little more of what we thought was going on this week. As I was telling Eva, I really don't know everyone's names. I just know, like, I see clips of it because I'm in and out. I just have emotions and expressions for the things that I was seeing that were kind of annoying. And some were reassuring to see. After this week of seeing everything go down, it was really good to see Cory Booker, kind of stand up, give some reassurances, a little clapping up for the girl. But it was just like, it was a rough week, I think. She held herself together very well, but it was a very rough, and I dare say ignorant week, because I didn't see all of this for the other judges when they were ready to try to throw them on in there. I really didn't see this. I didn't see this push for, what their accomplishments need to be, the things that they need to understand about them. But we got a lot of that this week. We got a lot. We got a lot.
It was a lot. So I did say last week that I was going to be listening at work, and I did. I wasn't able to be. Look, if my boss is watching this, please don't fire me. I like my job. But I thought this was very important. I put on like the captions when I was on the front desk. I was like, look, we are going to be making sure we are on track. So
Okay.
I did watch a good amount of all 4 days of the confirmation. So, yeah, and those first 3 days were rough. Particularly, I think the second and third day were really bad. Like that's when
Mhm.
there were a lot of the questions that you're getting those clips online now. And
Yeah.
you did say it, Nisi, like she held herself like with grace and poise. There were people who were watching this who had to stop watching it because it was so bad. Like it was so ignorant. There were questions that she was being asked that are not in her purview. And she would say, "Thank you for asking. That is not in my job." So let's discuss that because I was also feeling big feelings. I was having big feelings because I was listening to them asking questions. It was like, I'm not a Supreme Court justice, and I know this is not something she can or will be answering at her job interview, basically.
And shouldn't be.
And shouldn't be. And the fact that they were asking those questions, I was about to say stupid questions.
Well, you know, it's not that it's stupid questions. It's just like, think about when you give someone a normal interview. There's certain
Yeah.
questions that you really can't ask them because it doesn't have anything to do with their job. And because it doesn't have anything to do with their job, and because they're supposed to have a unbiased opinion when they're walking in
Mm-hmm.
as a judge, she's supposed to come into each situation, each case, with taking only a few things into when I say a few things, I mean overall, such as what this case is about, what this case actually, if there's any precedent. She's supposed to deal with the actual laws of it all, not just the opinions of it all, the things that can be proven, the things that are there. Then outside of that, because she is the judge, she is supposed to take in other underlying factors. Now, besides that, she's not supposed to come in with preconceived notions. She's not supposed to come in with how she feels about the person. She's not supposed to come in with her faith about the person. None of that. So it shouldn't be any of that being brought up here. And that's what I found so ignorant about the situation, that they were even bringing these things up when we know for some of these people, that is definitely what they do. It was just very frustrating to watch her have to keep answering these same questions over and over and over. There was even one situation where you were telling me about with the babies.
So I was listening to this at my back desk and I was watching this. Evidently, at one point, Ted Cruz, he has like a big blow up of a quote that he pulled from one of her speeches, and he starts talking about her connection to a private school or like a Montessori, like a private school for littles. He kept trying to bring up critical race theory. It was all critical race theory this and critical race theory that. The first question he asked her is, what is critical race theory and where does it get taught? And she's like, it's a law school level academic theory that gets taught at the law school level. And then he starts bringing all these books from the school that she's on the board of. And one of them is Anti-Racist Baby. His question after, showing the court the selection of books, which also included things like Stamped by Ibram Kendi. Like, really, first of all of us should be reading those books. But then he asked her, "Do you believe that babies are racist?" I was like, "I'm sorry, sir. He really thought he was going to get something." And I just, like, the way that she answered it, the poise, the grace, the way that she answered most of the questions and responded to a lot of this idiocy from people, it's so commendable. And I could not be it because I was sitting here with my earphones in.
It was the poise for me.
Yes.
Guys, baby, when I tell you, I'm not here for it. The fact that she was able, like, there were certain points where she would be like, there was one of the people up there who asked her something about, so what would you define a woman, right?
Oh.
And no matter what her personal views are, you can't, as a judge, without having a law, that's not your definition, because what does the court see as a law? So let's say she gives her definition and then they go and say, well, we have this case where you did something different. If she says, well, my opinion has changed or I feel differently, then they will be like, oh, well, that means that you're actually changed. You're deciding by how you feel that day, not by what the law is. And I just feel like we know there are people who are up there who go by how they feel, Ted Cruz need to stop these games. How many more hearings is it supposed to be?
Oh, none. The hearings are over. So the
So
hearing
now you have to
itself
vote.
is done. So it was just 4 days. But now we're waiting on them to actually make the decision to push her out to the Senate where she'll get confirmed, because she will get confirmed. A lot of the last 3 or 4 days has been mostly grandstanding, and it's been people looking for a good soundbite that they can keep playing on a loop somewhere. And that's what you'll see in a lot of these questions. One time,
Mm-hmm.
and it also, well, let me say that, it made me think a lot of these people on the board, on this panel, don't know what a judge does. Like they literally are sitting up
Oh.
there
Mm-hmm.
deciding, and they don't actually know that that's not her job. Like at one
Yep.
point, she had to say to one of the questioners, the interrogators, the guys who asked her a question. I guess
Mm-hmm.
at some point he was like, "It's not a difficult question. You need to answer it." And she was like, "It's not that it's not a difficult question. It's that it's not a question for me. It's not you're asking me to decide policy, and that's not literally not in my job. Like it's literally y'all's job. That's what y'all do
Mm-hmm.
here." So thanks for
Exactly.
the question, but ask somebody who can actually do that.
Exactly. Mm.
Ugh. And there were so many moments like that because I know exactly what he was trying to make her seem stupid, and that is like one of
Oh,
my
so you can't answer this? You can't answer
yeah.
this
It is a
simple
pet
question?
peeve. Like don't do that. And it was an ugly moment. And I think
Uh-uh.
a lot of people are going to look back if they saw, the clips and everything of this, and they're going to remember, and it's going to be something
Mhm.
they'll play those things on a loop, and it was not pleasant. And I do understand people who were like, I can't watch it.
Moving from one woman, black woman, to another black woman. I have been watching the Oscars.
Nice.
I didn't watch the whole thing because I came in here to record for you guys. One of the first things that happened that I wanted to talk about with Ev, because Ev, you didn't watch, right? You didn't
I
watch at
haven't
all.
watched any of it. I'll
Okay.
probably catch the clips later.
Okay. I'm gonna have to. I recorded the rest of it. I want to fast forward through all the whatever stuff and get to the
Mm.
good stuff, the people who really matter to me. Because I'm rooting for everyone black. Starting off, they had Beyonce, who did "Be Alive" from King Richard. Now we already know Beyonce is gonna give a good performance, anyways. But what made this one so spectacular is that she actually performed in Compton on the tennis courts. I believe it's the ones that Serena and Venus used to actually practice at. They start off with them coming down the street or whatever. And the thing that is so gorgeous about it is I'm looking at what everyone has on, the color, like kind of like the rapper who does the mint green.
Oh, Toby and Nuigwe.
Yes, kind of like that. Everything is one color. Everybody's
Okay.
wearing color, but they have on these dresses with like such texture. And when you really look at it, everyone has on the color of what the tennis ball would look like. So that
Oh,
is
okay.
everywhere. The court, the background, their nails, their full outfits, their violins, their drums, their trombone. When you actually like see it on the ball, you kind of think of it as like really obnoxious. But when you see it, it's all of these black women in it. Let's be honest, colors pop on us. It was just gorgeous. It was like this day glow, kind of yellow, whatever, kind of like our background here a little bit. It was kind of like that a little bit, but everywhere. And then Beyonce was singing. So it was really good. It was a great opening. They had 3 women. It was Regina Hall,
Oh, very nice.
and she let us know that she was single right away. She had a few moments where she made sure to bring up a few gentlemen from the audience. Yes, gentlemen.
Here.
Yes, she did. And she was gonna, something had happened with their COVID test that they needed to be rechecked.
Yes.
So she was going to, swab the back of their throats. And so she did this whole skit. It was really, really good. One was Amy Schumer. I was live tweeting for a little bit from our Twitter account. Do y'all see this at
Yeah.
Y'all Pod? So you guys should go check out some of those live tweets. Tweet me back. Tell me what you were thinking about what everyone had on. It almost looked like she had like a little sash, a little white sash that went across.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. It was very nice. Amy Schumer had on, I'm not sure if it was black or blue. It looked like she had on a black tie. When she came back, she had a very good little monologue. So it was cute. It was whatever. I only got to see everybody maybe one time so far in the show. Dune won a lot. Coda won for something. I haven't gotten to see whether or not King Richard won. I'm really hoping so because Will and Jada are getting blasted with a lot on this award show. People are really hitting them hard jokes.
We've talked about this. This is what happens when you overshare. Like then you allow it to become part of the zeitgeist. So
Yeah.
ouch, but also
they have been taking it in strides. I will say that.
okay.
I want you guys to really watch at least the beginning to see how hard Regina Hall comes after them and how well it is recepted. It is a difference of how someone plays with them and how like they already know it can be taken a little shady, but they play it right. And Regina Hall does that.
Okay.
At a certain point, she does a good feel down, a COVID-19 feel down, just to see how people are feeling of Jason Momoa.
I mean,
she made sure he was feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
She just wanted to make sure he felt good, and she made sure we all knew he felt good. You know, that's all she was doing. But it was a lot of people are saying it was boring, but I was looking for highlights, so I found highlights, and I found it a good time.
I don't think I've watched it in a couple of years. Like I really haven't been like completely like, oh, let's do the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
I usually watch at the end for the dresses, like for the outfits, and then I watch it for like who gets the major awards, and also if the movies that I think won should have won, or you know, if they won. So, and a lot of times they don't. So I'm just like, really? That's the one that won?
Yeah. I think this has been a really good episode for our reacts. I feel like we got to tell you guys everything that we were feeling this week. It's a good load off of our shoulders, and we can't wait for you to come back and see us next week.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that?
Did y'all see that?
Did you see that?